everybody, this is Rob Muffet. If you've got children in your family, here's a very inexpensive gift that you can get on eBay for less than 20 bucks if you're lucky, and it could end up being one of the best gifts you could ever give any child. I like to purchase used sets of the Golden Book Encyclopedia, particularly those that were published in the early 1960s. The reason I like this encyclopedia is that if you give it to a child who hasn't learned to read yet or has just begun reading, these encyclopedias have over 6,000 illustrations that were made by some of the best illustrators at that time. Now, these encyclopedias were published a long time ago, so some of the text is outdated and it's not valid anymore. However, it's easy to find up-to-date information on the internet nowadays. The real value in these encyclopedias is the 6,000 illustrations that just draws a child into the stories, and it makes them want to read. And it makes them want to like books and enjoy learning. And however, I don't want to give you the impression that the text in the books is not of any value, because actually some of the contributors were Walt Disney, Dr. Seaborg, who was I think a Nobel Prize winner in chemistry, Norman Vincent Peale, Dr. Jane, I forgot her name now, but I think it was Jane Watson. She wrote over 100 other gold books. There are many other contributors that added the text to this encyclopedia, so they have a lot of good information, but some of it's outdated. Now, my parents, they bought these books for the family when I was just a little kid, and I devoured them. But it's really amazing how much that I learned from them that I still retained over the years. So let me give you an example. I was at work one day years ago with my coworkers in the lunchroom, and I've been there for years. Now, a lot of my coworkers, they're very educated, had degrees in college, but that particular day somebody remarked they want to know how do refineries get so many different fuels from petroleum. And I said, well, you know, refineries, they use something like a tower in which they crack the petroleum and they heat it, and different fuels evaporate at different temperatures. So the refineries, they draw off the fuels as it's passed through the tower. And I said, now, if a petroleum engineer was standing next to me listening to my explanation, he'd probably laugh. But that was basically the answer. Now, some of the people said, how in the heck do I know this? And I suddenly thought how I did know it. I learned this when I was like 7 years old reading the Golden Book Encyclopedia. And I couldn't say that because I'd look like I was showing off and making them look stupid. So I said, well, when I was in the Merchant Marines, we went to a lot of refineries when I was on the oil tanker. So they took that explanation and they didn't ask anymore. So I thought that this was going to be bad if I make them look stupid. But that's how I learned. When I was 7, 8 years old, I learned about refineries and how they get fuel. And I'm really amazed how much other information I've learned over the years from those books, and it's retained in my old head, rattling around in my brain. So these books are old. Like I said before, some of the topics are outdated, like statistics about population or even some advances in sciences. And they might also be politically incorrect, as it was written in the late 50s and published in the early 60s. But we take reading for granted. A lot of children have trouble with reading. Anything we could do to help nurture and encourage children to learn and read about the world is a good thing. And 15 bucks is a pretty good price. Once they get hooked on reading, you can give them a Kindle, but Amazon is going to have to work really hard to come up with a more user-friendly and inexpensive introduction to the world of books that a cheap $15 set of Golden Book Encyclopedias can provide. I hope this helps you guys, convinces you to try this out. You can get these on eBay for 15 bucks sometimes. With shipping comes to 20 bucks, 25. This is a great present, and I hope everybody looks into it. Thanks everybody. I put on new videos every week.